is an incredible investor. He and his partners and team have done. We actually didn't talk about the number of properties you've done. We're going to talk about that buy and hold concept, but let me get out. Well, how many properties you've done over how long a span, Adam?
Me and my partner bought our first property January 6th of 2006, and just last week we closed on our 40th property.
That is an incredible number of properties. You working around the clock or something?
Pretty much, we've been known to pull all-nighters,
sorry,
finish rehabbing a property by our deadline.
That's incredible. Well, you have the energy, obviously, to do it, and apparently it takes a lot of energy. Let's talk for a moment about this buy and hold concept that you brought up before the break.
Essentially, what our plan is that we would buy a property, rehab it, and then finance it for the amount of money that of purchase price plus rehab. So, for instance, let's say we buy a house for $50,000, and it cost us $20,000 to rehab it. We could either sell it for $100,000, or we could take out a loan for $75,000. And by taking out that loan for $75,000, you're holding to the property. If you get $1,100 a month for it, you're cash flowing a little bit, but you can hold on to the property for a few years, and then as the market turns around and the values get to what they were a few years ago, you could sell it then for $140,000, $150,000 down the road.
Brilliant concept and how you're handling that. We have Chuck in Antioch on the line. Hi, Chuck. Very good. Thanks for calling, Chuck. What's your question? Okay, first of all, an LLC is a limited liability corporation, correct?
Correct. First, I'll explain what I understand of it, but I'm not a lawyer, so the way I understand it is that if MT Homes, my business, were to get sued, it could go after the assets in the business, but it can't go after the principals, the partners in the business personally. And that is why attorneys suggest only buying properties in an LLC, because who knows what could happen. MT Homes actually uses something that's called a series LLC, and every house is a different series in it. So ideally, or technically, every house we have has separate limited liability protection. So if something were to happen in one house, our other houses will be protected. When that's something that you would probably want to talk to an attorney about, because there's only so much knowledge I have on that subject.
You just know you have the working knowledge of how it's done and how it's set up so that it protects you. And just to reiterate, what you're doing is you're protecting your own personal assets. You're protecting your car, your home, so that someone cannot come along and sue you for your own personal assets and those of your team members.
Yeah, a big part about being a landlord is managing risk. It could be a very profitable business, but there's things that could happen, so you just want to make sure that you're protected personally.
Managing risk. So, if we're talking a little bit about, risk, are we talking about someone slipping on the ice and possibly suing you? What kind of risk are we talking about?
Yeah, similar to that, someone slipping on the ice and possibly suing you. There's a ton of things that you could be sued for that could go wrong, and most of them, fortunately I've never been sued, so I don't know, but I think it's mainly the things that you can't think of that will happen.
That's a really good way of putting it, because when someone is sued, it's generally they're blindsided and don't see it coming. But it's important to have this LLC to protect you like an umbrella, so that you're not having to worry about your own personal assets going down the drain. Or in this case, you have the Series LLC, which protects each and every property that you own. So if something happens to property number 39, they can't sue and take property number 38 and 37 and 36 and all the others.
Exactly. It's also important to maybe talk to an insurance agent to get an umbrella policy that will go over all of the properties as well.
Okay, all right. You talked a moment ago about how much lower you are getting houses for these days. There are people who are having to sell at those low prices, and they're not real happy about that. As a realtor, I'm out there helping people find homes, and when they find homes that they like, they are making offers that are $30,000 and $40,000 less than the asking price. And these aren't necessarily distressed properties; these are just people's homes. But in the case of what you're purchasing homes that maybe the owner is in a distressed situation. Now, don't you lower the property value of a community if you were going in buying properties at such a low cost?
No, investors will pretty much offer what the market calls for. I think of the 40 properties, I've only bought from one distressed buyer. Most of the time when I buy a property, I buy it after the bank already owns the property. It's all boarded up and is an eyesore to the community. And boarded up houses on a nice street not only the value of that property drops, the value of all the properties around it drop. Nobody wants to move to a street that's right next to a boarded up foreclosed house. So if the neighbor across the street is selling, they're going to have a harder time selling with that foreclosure across the street. So I believe that what we're doing is actually helping the property values of the areas around it.
Now, you're not rationalizing. You are actually, you feel that this is actually the case.
Yeah, I think it's pretty much common sense that boarded up house is going to bring down the property value of everything around it. You know, nobody wants to move to an area where there's a bunch of board ups.
And you say for the most part you're buying homes that have been in foreclosure, have gone to foreclosure.
Yes, that are already bank owned.
All right, okay. How difficult is it to get money to rehab the house? Well, to start out with the money to buy the house. It's a tight loan market right now. It's difficult to get a loan right now. Do you apply for loans to lenders, and then where do you get money to rehab?
My business has a credit line, which is collateralized by a few separate things. One is some of the equity we have in our properties, and also, some other areas. It's important to be able to do cash offers when you're buying REO properties from banks. And the ways to do that is to open up home equity lines of credit. If you're a homeowner out there and you're interested in getting involved in this, I would suggest looking at how much equity you have in your house. And if you could open up a line of credit on that equity, then you could be able to do cash offers.
Oh, cash offers so cash is the name of the game right now.
Cash offers when you're buying from a bank will help you get the property at a lower price. If there's a property on the market by a bank, there's 3 offers. All 3 offers are $35,000. 2 of them are financed, 1's cash. Every time they're going to take the cash offer.
Interesting. All right. We have a caller on the line, Paul in Waukegan. You're on the air, Paul.
He was touching on some of the questions that I have, and I wanted him to elaborate on some more of the bank negotiations. I'm looking at a place that's bank owned, and I think that they don't have any principal down on it. They owe the full amount. How long does that bank hold that property before it starts bringing the price down? And if you could just talk a little bit more about how you negotiate with the bank.
Okay, Adam, what's the process there?
Well, I'm a licensed real estate broker, and most of the time these banks list the properties with real estate brokers that specialize in working with banks. And the name of the game there is to wait. If a property has been sitting on the market long enough with a bank, they will drop the prices very fast. One thing that could be important is to have a real estate broker that works with you and could alert you real fast to when there's a price change. Because what happens is when there's a price change, you need to act fast or somebody else is going to get the property. Recently there was a property that a year and a half ago my investment group offered $75,000 on. Our offer was rejected because the bank was asking $95,000. A year later, that property was still on the market, and we bought it for $35,000. And we almost bought it for $75,000 the year before. So the name of the game is to wait. There's a lot of foreclosures out there, so be patient.
That's interesting. I think that this bank is into this property more than what it's worth. And so far, they have not dropped the price at all. Approximately how much time are you talking about?
You know, there's